All right, guys, welcome to the new episode of Market Mastery. I'm here with Troy. We're going to take you guys through everything that's happening in the market right now: cryptos, oil, gold, silver, Ethereum. There's a lot of things happening right now, so we want to cover some of those off. I think the most interesting thing at the moment, obviously, is the Bitcoin move. We've finally broken out of this symmetrical triangle that's been building. I don't know how long has that been? Almost two and a half months now, right? And we finally had a breakout to upside, which is a really good sign, along with metals and things like that, which are obviously being pushed by Judy Shelton, getting approved or halfway approved anyway. It just needs to be approved by the Senate, which is majority Republican anyway, so that should be done. I'm pretty sure that's on Tuesday. So gold and silver and also Bitcoin might also get a push after she gets approved, because if you want to go and do a bit of research into her, she's been talking for a long time about having a gold-based or metals-based currency that's quite heavy in gold that operates on some sort of a cryptocurrency platform as to replace the US dollar. So that's some interesting things you guys can go and check out. But I do think that's very bullish for the whole space. And obviously we've seen Bitcoin break out. Now, what I've got here right now is an overlay of the 2019 bottom, which is in the yellow, right? So that's this wick-off accumulation pattern that anybody that was in our Facebook groups or Discord groups would have known that we talked about that a lot, and we've studied that a lot before and also after the breakout. And the symmetrical triangle pattern we're starting to break out was sort of around this area here at the moment. And so it looks to me a lot like this is turning into a reaccumulation pattern, and I would expect it to follow gold and silver to break out. And so, things are looking pretty good at the moment for the space in general, but it still hasn't really broken out until, we have a final clean breakout above 10,300 or let's say 10,400 to keep it clean. That's really the area, but we still have a long time to position. And so what will happen now, if this continues to play out, we'll slowly start to push up and we'll start to form more of an ascending triangle, because the symmetrical triangle breaks and then it starts to move into an ascending triangle, and then you start to move up, and then you finally have the big breakout. Then that pushes into, our sign of strength, and we get our bull flag, and then we'll push on. It might not look exactly the same as this. It's just an example, and you can see how closely the price action has been very similar, right? So just because we've broken out the symmetrical triangle, guys, doesn't mean that it's not going to be choppy again, possibly another month or month and a half, right? So don't expect it's going to be clean trading bull flags like we were back here in 2019, right, for that big push. But, a possible time like that could be coming soon, considering, we've just had the halving. So that's what, basically we're looking at the moment on Bitcoin. A bit more sideways action, a little bit more chop, probably fake a few people out thinking we're going to dump. Flip funding. So make sure, you guys are watching the funding and see how that's going, because if we get a big sell-off with funding to the downside, quite negative, that could lead us to quite a nice position to liquidate some shorts and finally get that big breakout rally, which of course we want to be on. So for me, currently position, I'm 100% into Bitcoin on spot. And I'm in a long position on a couple of different exchanges. So what's what we're looking at the moment, continued breakout and more up to the upside after a little bit of a chop. Other things I'm looking at the moment, obviously silver has had a really nice run and a big breakout. It's sort of started to put in this flag pattern at the moment. Gold has also broken out and is moving to the upside at the moment. Silver hasn't gone yet, so it might be one that we might be able to catch if you catch on the video early, right? Because gold is starting to push already out of its sort of flag pattern through here, and it looks like it wants to crack 1900 and push the all-time high, because it's only $21 away, right? So that's going to be pretty big if gold pushes up to a new all-time high, which it might not happen. It might get close to it and then pull back a little bit and then go again. But I'd be very surprised if we don't break to a new all-time high soon. And that's obviously going to drag silver up with it. And then also the other one to watch as well is platinum, because gold usually goes first, then silver follows it shortly after, and then platinum goes after that. And sometimes, you can actually trade all three They're very congruent markets. So just be careful. You're not going to get wrecked on all of them if they pull back at the same time. But sometimes you can catch one after the other, which can be a pretty handy little tip. The other thing I'm sort of been trading and watching a fair bit is XTZ, which has had a bit of a sell-off here after a nice breakout of this falling wedge, but it's starting to look a little bit bearish at the moment, like a possible head and shoulders building. So just watching that, getting a few sell indicators on momentum swings. This might have to come down a little bit more to fully reset before some sort of a breakout. Link usually leads XTZ. So just watch that, see if Link starts pushing higher or if it sells off. XTZ can sometimes be half a day behind Link. So I've actually got a couple of pretty nice trades from Link starting to push, and XTZ hasn't pushed yet, and just longing XTZ, putting stops under the closest support level, and then XTZ goes for like a 10 or a 5 to 10% move afterwards. So it's a handy little tip to keep those, and that's why I have them next to each other as well in my watch list. It's a handy little tip. Now, oil is starting to show a few little problems at the moment on the oil trade. Unfortunately, on this breakout, I didn't take profit because my profit, I was waiting to see how it looked when it came to close the gap that's been left open since March. So we've actually broken back below the key support level, which is not a good sign. And now we're starting to break down below this diagonal support level. So, I mean, realistically, because we had this wick down here, we can drag this down to here. And I would say if it breaks through this level here now, that would be pretty much game over. So you can see it's just very narrowly missed my stop loss. It really needs to rally ASAP and reclaim the top of this ascending triangle. Otherwise, this is not a trade I want to be in anymore. I think it's going to break down. Possibility of a short on the underside of this, but I'm not really that keen. I'll probably just, use the capital to get into a gold or silver long or something like that, right? But yeah, still holding my silver ETFs at the moment. So they're going very well. So silver spot, silver through an ETF, and also silver miners. They're performing very well. So the other thing I want to chat about as well is the long-term silver chart. As we can see here, we've had our wick-off pattern, which we talk about a lot, and anyone that's done our training knows a lot about this. And this is obviously a very clear spring reclaim of the range low here, right? So that's your test. And then we pushed up very aggressively, more aggressively than what I thought. I thought it might do something like this and then go. But the world is very bullish due to Corona and everything like that. And, the Fed printing so much and the DXY starting to break down at the same time. Obviously, Fed board members getting approved that are extremely pro, metals and getting rid of the dollar and all that. So this might pull back to support before it goes again. It's been a huge move. But the thing that I wanted to talk about is the likeness and how similar this looks on the 3-day chart to Ethereum on the daily chart. The charts are almost exactly the same. We just didn't get as big of a spike below the range low, but very, very similar charts here at the moment to the Ethereum and silver. And I'm expecting Ethereum to break out the top here, especially if Bitcoin goes, silver will go. And, targets I've got for silver are about 370. Then we have 500, let's just say. And then the next target is about 800 if it starts to get really bullish. So it's just something to keep our eyes on. I think silver could continue to push definitely until 26. So we might get another chance to enter as well for people who missed it, and then push up to the next high level of resistance through there at about 26. So those are the main things I'm looking at the moment. This is our DXY chart that we were discussing on Monday, and we're starting to break below that key level through here, that key level of support. And with the Fed just printing so much money, with the US going back into lockdown, and that's going to force the Fed to have to print even more capital to be able to support the population, because there's 40 million people filing for unemployment. They're going to have to support more businesses. They're probably going to have to pump even more money into the stock market as well. to keep that going and stop that from dumping off and keep everything in the bond market liquid. So keep watching the DXY chart. If this keeps breaking down, gold, silver, I think Bitcoin as well will continue to push. So that's pretty much it from me. Nothing else too serious that I wanted to look at. I think the other only thing I've been looking at as well, we better quickly just check on stocks, right? Obviously lost the key support level that we broke out from. Actually looks sort of similar to the oil chart at the moment, except it's not as clean of ascending triangle, but we've lost the key level, which isn't that great. So we could see, continued downside and see what happens on Monday. Not super keen on looking at that right now because it sort of looks a little bit like a rising wedge. So let's see how that ends up playing out. The other markets look a little bit more bullish. Especially the US 30, which is looking to me like it's starting to form a big symmetrical triangle, right? And then we've got our key level from way back, right through the middle of it. So this could end up falling down and doing something like that. But I do think it's sort of similar to the gold. It wants to come up and test the highs, test the all-time high eventually, with the dollar getting weaker and people funneling capital into assets. And the other one as well that's looking pretty bullish at the moment is the Australian Stock Exchange, right? So the ASX looking pretty good in this nice ascending triangle. So obviously, that's going to need to bounce very soon as well, and we might get that rally next week. So that's one to watch. Next week, it really needs to get a bounce here and go sideways like that, and then reclaim the top of the range high of this ascending triangle and then break out. If we get a break below this multi-touch trend line, right, that could be a nice short for more downside if we're expecting, the market to break down. So if you're bearish on the ASX, the short trade is going to look something like this, right? Getting somewhere in like that, and then the long trade, you're going to be wanting to get in somewhere in here and in a breakout or just after it's broken out to the upside. So that's pretty much it from me, guys. Troy, I'm going to handball it across to you, mate.
Sweet as. All right, cool. You can see and hear me, I assume. Let's get into it. Looking at Bitcoin, I'm just going to start on the DXY before Bitcoin. DXY, if you guys know, we've been covering lately. It seems to be pretty critical to follow the DXY on all markets at the moment. I originally assumed a few weeks ago that we'd see more of an incline up here to a retest before the rejection or potential wick-off trading range reaccumulation. But while also watching the weekly, which was showing a wick-off distribution pattern, which is what we're seeing here. We saw the UTAD, the up thrust after distribution here, which has then come down. On Monday, I mentioned the incline trend line. It's 9 years old, right? And we've just touched down to it, right? Which is just here. And we've also got a 23-year trend line coming through here, a level, right? And we just touched down to that as well with the apexes. So definitely going to be a really interesting week next week. If we do end up losing this as support, this trend line, I'd say all markets will moon. Just like I said on Monday, it looked like Bitcoin was about to break out and head up because of the DXY looking to break down. Definitely start paying attention to this if you're not yet. I'll keep updating you on it, but I think this is a key part. It could become a very large ascending triangle if this doesn't break down through here over the next few weeks. With the China-US relations, the media states that they're falling apart and they're closing the embassies and the rest of it. So curious. Really, really critical point on this chart. So next week, be careful. If this does bounce, we'll see all markets pull back pretty violently, I think. So just pay attention. We might end up with a candle like this one, right? Which was the COVID candle. So just be careful. Massive support here. We'll go back to Bitcoin. So we knew the DXY looked like it was about to break down, and we had the bull flag through here, and we had the break. Right, so there's the large falling wedge, and then you got the bull flag down here off the 618 fib we covered in the last video, which was just drawn from the bottom here up to the top of that. Right, came down, consolidated above the 618, and launched. So it did exactly as it should, and that's what we were expecting in the last video. And it's run straight to the weekly order block resistance, and currently rejecting. So we made a higher high to this high on the daily, right? So our trend now is our low, right? Got a higher low down here, and then a higher high here. So daily trend is technically reversed for now. We really want to see a swing low first, and then another higher high, right, to completely invalidate this potential breakdown. Hopefully, if this just carries on up before a lower low, sorry, before another higher low, I'd prefer to see the higher low first, instead of it just breaking up too quickly, and just keep the market structure going. It has been pretty boring lately. The market, or Bitcoin has anyway. It's got to be patient with it. We've already been here for like, what, 2.5, 3 months. Looking at it on the weekly level, if we get a nice close here above this wick top on Monday, I'll be looking for continuation. But if we close below that or on that, maybe another consolidation week, and that'll come back down to the DXY as well, depending on what all markets do. There is a level to watch at the moment. You got this one here to watch. Bring that across. This is on the daily, right? And this is the high of that impulse candle there. And if we can see over here, go down to, let's say, the 1 hour, price is currently dancing with that. So if we do hold above that and consolidate, maybe some kind of bull flag is presented to us through here over the weekend, maybe we'll get some continuation. Just keep an eye on that particular level. Other than that, I'll go back to gold now. So gold, I put out a big post on July the 1st, right? It was on the social media, so I don't think it was a video. But gold and silver have been looking amazing, and gold's playing out, and both silver are also playing out. Looks like it's running to the all-time high, like Kyle's mentioned, right up here. This is what we call a rising wedge pattern. So if you are trading gold or you own gold and you want to have a bit of an understanding of what's going on, this is called a rising wedge. It's been forming since March, right? So it's a lot of pressure built up to this point, and that's why we're seeing this massive breakout here. These patterns do have a high tendency to fail about here, right? They run to their target or first point of resistance, and then they do fail. So just be careful of that as well. I don't think that's going to happen, especially if this China-America crap escalates. Gold will definitely be the safe haven. And as Kyle mentioned, the mineral-backed or gold-backed currency. From here, ultimately, it's just the all-time high as a target. And then from that point on, it'll be the gold to gold. So from this gold here to that gold here. You can also go by measured move on rising wedges, which is the furthest point within the wedge. Right, any fractal trade will be looking for that on the point of break. All right, so put you up here somewhere. So that's also a target based on this. Right, just how the market moves tends to get those perfectly. And I'm just watching the CME chart at the moment. So just keeping track of downtrend resistance, the range that we're currently in. So when we're in the blue zone, for me, that's a bit of a fuckery zone. It's a bit of a neutral stance. I don't want to get too bullish just yet. I've seen many markets do this kind of stuff before and then just roll over anyway. So I'm not getting too bullish yet. I'd like to see us be trading above 9,800 and especially above this downward trend resistance here. All right. So far we've got the daily upswing. Something I am watching is on actually the 3-day time frame at the moment, which is just the moving average, the 20 moving average. Right. I want to see price hold above this over the next week or two. All right, because we've got the 50 and the 100 dancing now, but the 20 ideally would hold price here. If we get a 3-day close on it'll be Sunday like this, and we're still in this range, then I'll be looking for a potential evening star reversal, meaning that early next week, we'll probably see a bit of a sell-off. Not necessarily a bad thing, because it could just be a bit of a bullish retest or something like this. It'll come down and retest and consolidate and carry on. And then the weekly close itself, all right, as we covered before, this needs to be up over here as well. Continuation to be strong, right, to show strength. And then the daily as well, just rejecting here. And the MAs are the 20s winding up, the 100s are winding up, the 200. So we're above all MAs. When the 20 gets above the 50, being the blue above the green, It'll show core strength, and that's the perfect order of the moving averages for an uptrend to continue. Backtest that. Definitely play around with your moving averages on the daily or weekly time frames. You'll see what I mean. Other than that, I'm looking at some altcoins. Most of the USDT pairs have sold off today. ZEC in particular is one that I'm a little bit of interest in. Oh, no, sorry, USDT. Bit of an SFP on the 4-hour come in. All right, so it looks like it's pretty ugly how this has come up, starting the high and then dumped off. All right, especially after a run like this. Something just to be careful of. Usually when you see the wick on the further side instead of the upside like this, that's usually when tops are put in. So just be careful. These USDT pairs have had a pretty hard run, and that DXY is looking on to be on support. So if Bitcoin does pull back or markets all start pulling back, if it does hold, the DXY does hold, these USDT pairs are going to go down with it. Just a bit of bearish outlook, but obviously the trend is up, so don't fight trend as well. Just be cautious, right? Another one I always track and follow is IOTA USDT. Also, similar scenario. Right, we've just fallen under a key level. Came from all the way back here. Sorry, this one comes all the way back from down here on the weekly, I believe. And we just got a bit of an evening star reversal off that on the daily. So if the daily closes underneath this line here tomorrow, I've been maybe looking to go short on this and seeing some kind of correction behavior like this, right? So I'll be looking to get long again, maybe at a retest of this high here, where these two come down to. So it could be a week or two of correction, maybe. After a rally like this, I'd like to see some form of pullback before continuing higher, if that is the case. Any alts you in particular you looking at the moment, Kyle?
Nothing too exciting. AGI is sort of trying to get it moving a little bit and break out. I've been sort of looking at that.
Got this one.
Obviously, because like that whole China thing, XTZ as well.
Yeah, real curious because the TA looks good for Neo right now, but the news FUD, right? For me, this is a great trade. Inverse in a shoulder here. We're getting a retest of the midline at the moment, the neckline. This is a great entry for a long, in my opinion. You can get some form of consolidation here. All right, so maybe pay attention to IOTA, sorry, not IOTA, Neo. If it can hold this black level here on the daily, which will be a red candle on most charts, and we do get a data close above that tomorrow, maybe watch for a continuation trade here, because this is a bullish structure here, which it could be either a bull flag in that sense or a inverse in shoulder here. And I've just got one more I was looking at, which was the LTC USDT. So this is a large one in the making, right? Somewhat similar to Bitcoin, right? It's had its recovery from the COVID dump, consolidated sideways. It's holding a key level. It comes way back to here. If we can hold above this over the weekend, I might look to go long on that next week, but also depending on what the rest of the market's doing. But yeah, looking pretty good for a long-term play if Bitcoin does go bullish and we start getting a higher low or further highs. Cool. What's that chart, Kyle? You want to throw it on?
Yeah, I'll chat about that quickly. Just to cover off some of the things that we looked at on Monday. Obviously, the gold play played out. I'm trying to find the chart from the move contract that we called, because we were saying we were talking about the move play on Monday, and you can go back and check the video, guys. We were discussing how we thought the move might happen on Tuesday night. So I longed the move contract on the open of that day, which was actually on this candle right here. And this move contract closed on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. And the move obviously happened around Tuesday afternoon sometime. And then it played out. And then obviously this is the nice and juicy P&L that I ended up getting. As you can see, the average buying price was 122 and the average sell price was 287. So yeah, you know, those move contract plays, you know, when you get them right to the upside, definitely they can play out to be really, really juicy and return not really nice profits. So, you know, we're still playing around with that at the moment, but some pretty cool things. Obviously, you know, we called gold as well. That has broken out for an 80-point move. And then obviously Bitcoin as well. So go and check out that video, guys, to see all the different calls that we made and how they've played out. And that's pretty much it. Just wanted to gloat that I had a 2,700% P&L.
Congrats, man. Enjoy your wins, all right? Celebrate them. Something to go to your head.
That's it. That's it. Too easy. We'll probably wrap up the video there, guys. Give us a like and subscribe. Share the video with your friends. And we are still in the middle of running our FTX course at the moment. So if you want to join, you can still sign up. Links will be in the YouTube comment section. And if you sign up late, you'll get the recording so you can watch those and catch up to speed. The next session is on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And then we've got 2 more sessions after that. So we've still got 3 webinars to go. Everybody's been loving the last 2 webinars. This time we're going to be talking a lot more about strategies and setups and actually inputting trades and trading them. So it's going to be a really good week next week. Me and Troy are both pumped for it. So hope to see you guys online. See you all soon.
Sweet as.